album, I knew that it was good, like, right off. Like, when you know that something is good, you know from the time that the demo's done that it's going to be hot. You like the lyrics, you like the beat. I kind of think the listeners out here will be the same thing. So, this is our demo. I want to have that same energy and that same fire, kind of thinking about, a young MC coming into the game, trying to really up his or her reputation. So we got some pretty hot topics we're going to discuss, so I'll get right into it. I don't know, Michael, I don't know if you had a chance to check out the Floyd Mayweather fight this weekend. So what I ended up doing, I unfortunately had to get some work done on my wisdom teeth. So I was laid up pretty much all weekend. Because of all the hype around this fight, it being the fight of the century, all of my friends were throwing this fight party. I get out literally on my sick bed, have gauze on my mouth, spitting in a cup. I take myself to the fight party, only to see Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao basically dance with each other for 45 minutes. I think I paid like a $15 cover at the door, bought some wings that I couldn't eat because I could barely chew anything. And so after the fight, Mayweather won. He threw about a dozen punches the entire fight, but he won. After the fight, a lot of interviews about his record, him being 48-0. And supposedly up there with Rocky Marciano, with Ali, with Joe Frazier, with Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Hagler, Hearn, some of the best boxers of the last, 75 years. I wanted to throw it out there based on what I've seen. I've seen a lot of Floyd Mayweather fights. I like watching fights. I grew up in a fight culture. My father was a big fan of Tyson. We used to rent all the Tyson fights back in the day. Tyson would knock somebody out in the first minute and a half before the butter on the popcorn had even dried. I don't see how Floyd Mayweather can be considered one of the greats, even though his style is very efficient and it's effective as far as him winning. But is there not a difference between winning and greatness?
What defines greatness but the ability to win?
Yeah, but so that's one way of looking at it. But when you see Mayweather fight, you see him, basically what he does is he throws a punch every 30 seconds and he spends the rest of the time running around the ring.
You're right. Now, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today about this fight, and I asked him a question. The question was, two guys are in a fight, what's your goal? The goal is to win the fight. It's not to win pretty, it's not to win ugly, it's to win. And we've been watching Floyd Mayweather fight for years. What was anybody expecting? You got a situation where he's the bigger, stronger, fat fighter. He's got more reach. He's got quicker hands. And they're both 40 years old. Floyd has never been the type who's going to brawl with anybody. And if Pacquiao's going to take a straight right hand to the face every time he tries to get in close enough to fight, the fight was exactly what I was expecting.
But isn't that part of the greatness though? Floyd ducked Pacquiao when he was in his prime. So 5 years ago, Pacquiao would have mopped the floor with Floyd Mayweather, but he wouldn't fight him. He made him wear the special gloves and take all of these blood tests and all of that stuff.
I don't know that Manny would have beat him.
But who is Floyd Mayweather? Who has he really beat that was any good? He beat a washed-up De La Hoya. He just beat a washed-up Pacquiao. He beat,
he beat Mosley. He beat Mosley. That's only because he was entertaining. That knockout power is what fans want to see. But if we're talking about the ability to actually win fights, Floyd does that better than anybody, and it's not his fault that he doesn't have the competition to push him. If we were talking about the guy who might have been the second or third best in his era, okay, then we can question his greatness. Floyd, undefeated. If somebody out here had beat Floyd, we could question whether or not he's great. But nobody out here has even really been able to do a whole lot with him to push him to the limit. So you have to give him his credit as being great. Now, I'm not saying he's the greatest ever, I'm not going
Is
that
he
far.
is he in the conversation though? I don't even think he's in the conversation. He's probably the greatest businessman ever.
He has
But
to be in the
pure
conversation.
boxing.
He has to be in the conversation. He's proven that he is an elite level pugilist. And it's been long proven that the better the competition, the great ones get better. So if Floyd had actually been in an era where he actually was able to fight greater fighters, I think he'd have been able to show us more. He may have lost. I'm not saying he's the greatest, but we'd have really been able to appreciate his skill more. Because he does have a very, very, very high skill level and an equal IQ to match as far as what goes on in the ring.
When was the last time Floyd Mayweather knocked somebody out? 5 years ago? 7 years ago?
Okay. How often do
I mean, he knocked out the one.
You're listening to the Lance J Radio Show on Advent Sports Network.